Hello, my name is Navigator, and I wasn't planning on making a video today. Yesterday I put out a community post saying I was feeling a little under the weather, and I still am today, although not as bad as yesterday. Anyways, I wanted to make a video today going over one of the biggest questions that I've been asking about the new Nuka World on Tour update, and that is going to be, why is Nuka World, well, on tour? You might be asking yourself, oh, don't go too deep into that. It's just a new update for fun, stuff like that. But honestly, from what I've gathered, there's a lot of information, leading to it, and you can kind of formulate a pretty cool story based around this carnival. So today, I am here at the upcoming location for the new Nuka World on Tour Carnival, right over here by Lewisburg. There's kind of this like barren area just by the fairgrounds under the Hornwright Mansions, whatever. And this is definitely a prime spot to be adding a new location with a bunch of new buildings and shit. So, yeah, nothing really else to say. I guess some things I can say. Just, again, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so if I mess up a little bit, if I ramble, I don't even know. That's kind of why I'm not really feeling the best. But I think that this video is something to, bring up. It's a good question to bring up, and honestly, all I'm doing is sitting here talking. It's not like I'm really wasting a lot of energy on that, so I can definitely make this even if I fucking was missing all my limbs. So, the other thing I want to say is thank you to Naked Vault Dweller. He posted a bunch of videos going over all of the new NPCs that are coming with the Nuka World on Tour update, and I watched all of his videos going over those NPCs, and a couple of them had some information I'll talk about today, so I wanted to thank him for that. Naked Vault Dweller is always great for just upcoming information on the game, so be sure to check him out. Okay, folks, let me get into this and try to cover this as briefly as I can. Alright, so why is Nuka World on tour? If you don't know what I am talking about in that regard, tomorrow, December 6th, marks the drop of the Nuka World on Tour update for Fallout 76. This update brings a Nuka-themed carnival to the Ash Heap region of Fallout 76, as well as plenty of new missions, events, and rewards. Okay. If you played Fallout 4, you will definitely remember the Nuka World DLC. We go to Pennsylvania, kind of to the Fallout equivalent of Hershey Park. You find John Caleb Bradburn, the maker of Nuka World. You go on these wacky adventures. You even meet Sierra Petrovita from Fallout 3. It's a really great DLC, really fun. Definitely something different in regarding the Fallout series and Fallout DLCs. But I never thought that I would see it again. You know what I mean? I never thought that I would ever see anything Nuka World coming back to the game, especially not in 76. So let me just talk about some of the NPCs, what they said, and try to give you an exact, the lore of the Nuka World on Tour Carnival. Okay, so Nuka World on Tour is owned by a woman named Patricia Myers. Her parents owned the traveling carnival, which was aligned with the Nuka World theme park pre-war. Now, we can assume that, like many other institutions in the real world, they kind of had these like offshoot sister companies, whatever, just to kind of make more money and bring their enterprise to people in, places that they, like Disneyland, Disney World are in Florida and California. I'm sure they have like fucking Disney on Ice or whatever it is to bring Disney closer to people like in their hometowns. I hope you guys know what I'm saying by that, but it makes sense as that this would be a business venture for Nuka World. So her parents owned the traveling carnival, which operated before the war, but when the bombs dropped, her parents were, soon after killed by a group of bad guys, as she calls them. We can assume that they're raiders, and she ended up making it out of there with her brother safe, but unfortunately her parents were killed. Because of this, the Nuka World on Tour Carnival was now in her and her brother's hands. Patricia, being the eldest of the two, kind of took the reins on it. Something else we discover is that the last location the tour was set, or sorry, my bad. So going back to what I just said, her brother Pete, who is kind of the co-owner of the carnival, he is addicted to chems. This is something that we're going to find out come tomorrow. You'll be able to talk to him, stuff like that. But we can assume that this addiction, among many other things, came from the trauma of losing his parents at such a young age, mixed with the fact that he and his sister were kind of thrown into this apocalyptic world. I'm sure that is any person's excuse to have a drug addiction. So talking about Pete, another little thing I could talk about regarding Nuka World, just really briefly, is going to be the new Ultrasight Titan boss. Now, I'm bringing this up now because it is majorly related to Pete. I tried to look up like a story about the Ultrasight Titan, blah, 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 and, I found a little bit of it. So, going back to his drug addiction, Patricia is very skeptical of her brother because her brother, mentions that he saw this creature one time in one of the abandoned mine shafts here in the Ash Heap. And it's funny because you're like, oh, maybe he's just, hopped up on chems, whatever. He doesn't really explain what the creature is. And then you come to find out that that creature is the Ultrasite Titan, which is a mole rat that has been living in the ash heap, exposed to an ungodly amount of Ultrasite. Although I'm not sure how Ultrasite would mutate a mole rat into a, bigger mole rat, but I guess that's a story for another day. Let me see what else I have here in my little notes. Yeah, going over the boss, stuff like that. Okay, so what I was saying earlier, back to Patricia. She talks about how she has owned and operated the Nuka World on Tour Carnival for, close to 27 years now since the bomb. Well, since I don't know how long it's been. I can't do the math right now. But however long it's been from where we are right now in '76 to when the bombs dropped, that time span, she has owned and traveled with the carnival for the most part. Managing everything there. So she's been around for a while, and they have had lots of members come and go. And something that they both say is that they often lose members, to death, to Raider Gang, stuff like that. Patricia notes that the last area that the carnival was set up at was attacked by raiders, and her, along with a bunch of other members of the operation, were split up. And she says that she is currently waiting for them. Right here in West Virginia for them to come back, but she is not too hopeful about that. On the same note, however, her brother Pete, although he is, addicted to drugs and chems, he is a, very skilled mechanic. And what he does is he will make robots with, really cool personality, stuff like that, to kind of compensate for the loss of people in the Nuka World on Tour Carnival, and to bring more life to the carnival since those people are missing. So that's just another little side note that I figured I should mention. So I'm looking through this, and there's really not more that I can say. Yeah, nothing really. I guess the last thing I can talk about is just going to be some final notes, like what we can assume from all this. So something interesting to think about is how the carnival operators have turned the tour into a means of survival. Now, that's not in a selfish way, but the tour obviously generates caps for them, and since they are constantly moving, from one location to the other, they are meeting new groups of people and can consistently make new caps. Just something interesting, like, you find, like, Minerva sells, plans for gold bullion. You have the Blue Ridge Caravan, the Crimson Caravan out there in the wastelands, and they're, selling wares, stuff like that. It's interesting to think that this is almost like a means of survival for these people. This thing not only brings joy and entertainment and all that stuff to the people of the wasteland, but it also serves as a survival mechanism for the people running the carnival. And it's really cool to think about that. But again, not really in a selfish way. And overall, the main goal of the carnival is to bring happiness and entertainment to the people of the wasteland, and hopes that it will take their minds off of the devastation that has occurred to them. Yeah, I'm really trying to think if there's anything else I can say. One other thing I can is that, similar to Earl, the Ultrasite Titan is a boss that has, like, I guess in the lore sense, existed in the map since the beginning of the game, or at least since Vault 76 opened, and we were kind of like sentient within West Virginia. Although, like, it probably wasn't in the map literally since launch. It's funny to think that this Ultrasite Titan has been, like, growing and feeding beneath the ash heap, stuff like that, moving around, similar to how Earl was trapped in Monongah Mine after the bombs dropped. He was there the whole time, but it took a while for us to actually uncover that it was there. So, yeah, going through here, nothing really else I can say. I have some little note here, end notes. Nuka World is mad. Okay, so yeah, I mentioned that Nuka World is in Pennsylvania, and if you guys are, look at a map at all, you'll know that Pennsylvania is not too far from West Virginia. So it's interesting to think that I wonder where else the Nuka World on tour has been. And on top of that, it makes sense that they would be here. I would assume that, they're not like traveling all the way to California and then walking all the way back to West Virginia. It makes sense that they would be kind of in the same region as the Nuka World amusement park. And on top of that, something else I can say is, how the hell do they move? The amusement park, as you guys will see tomorrow, is massive. It is super big. There's like a roller coaster coming, there's all the Wild West building, stuff like that, and there's only like really a handful of like NPCs and robots, and I'm wondering, do they travel like every other caravan? Do they just like pack this all up on like a horse and buggy and move across the wasteland? I wonder how they transport all this stuff. I have yet to see, the actual map. I haven't really looked too much into the PTS, like, analyzing every little feature they have there. I'm hoping that that will possibly be explained a little bit further when the update drops, but I guess that'll be a story for another day. And the last thing I want to say is that this is now the second reference to the second time that we have seen a previous Fallout DLC in Fallout 76. That begs the question, will we see other Fallout series DLC in Fallout 76? Nuka World is of course reference to the Nuka World on Tour the Nuka World on Tour is a reference to the Nuka World DLC from Fallout 4, and we just had the Pit, which is a Fallout 3 DLC. I'm wondering what other ones will come. Number one on my list has to be Point Lookout. They have to do something with Point Lookout. But for the third time me saying this in this video, that will be a story for another day. So folks, I'm sorry if I was kind of all over the place with this. I'm sorry if my voice kind of sounds a little bad, whatever. But yeah, there's nothing really else I can say here, and I'm definitely very excited for this update. I didn't plan on making any videos today, but I was sitting in bed, kind of looking this up, stuff like that, and I figured that I'd come up with enough information that I could, put some stuff together for you guys and make a decent story. So again, the Nuka World on Tour update comes out tomorrow, December 6th, 2022, and I am very excited to see you guys and play with you guys out here in the Wasteland. So, my name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.